The launch of the European EPS registry was announced at EuroPD 2011.
I'm here with Drs. Martin Wilkie and Mario Corte to discuss today's launch of the European EPS registry. Mario, can you tell us what the European EPS registry will deliver for PD patients?
Well, EPS is a very impressive disease. It's impressive because it has a high mortality and high morbidity for the patients. And there are a lot of unsolved questions concerning issues like what is the exact pathophysiology, what markers can we use, what is the natural history of the disease. And the EPS is occurring rather rare, so we try to bundle all our experience in creating a larger study population by the registry. And by looking at a larger population, we might be able to gain more knowledge of the EPS. So by working together with all the groups, we bundle our experience. And in the end, then the EPS patients or the PD patients in general will benefit because there will be new guidelines and new therapy, probably.
Martin, can you give us a UK perspective?
Yes, I think this comes at a really opportune time. In the UK, there's been an EPS registry running for probably nearly 5 years, I think. And quite a number of cases and samples have been collected, but an opportunity to collaborate with the European EPS registry, I think, provides a good opportunity to pool our resources and try to get some answers about this very difficult condition. In the UK, the governance arrangements in terms of ethics committee and that sort of thing have already been sorted out. That's going to be renewed because there is a new amount of money now available through a grant which will allow more detailed study. So I think what we're seeing here is really different groups coming together to tackle this difficult question, and that's the best opportunity that there will be for providing answers for our patients.
And making the already existing registries and studies more compatible.
Yes, exactly. It's a very difficult disease for all sorts of reasons, and one of them is the definition of the condition is quite challenging, and so by pooling together all the cases, we'll have a better way of trying to look back and really understand what the prevalence and incidence of this condition is and its risk factors, and understand better about interventions and treatments, these kind of things.
Here we have 4 interviews with Hilary Becker, Richard Fluke, Sandeep Mitra and Bert Barmans discussing patient choice and the use of different dialysis modalities. Can you tell me about the research you are doing concerning patient decision making?
Yes, we're developing a patient decision aid, and it's funding we've got from 2 sources, which is the Foundation of Informed Medical Decision Making and Kidney Research UK, with partnership from Baxter's. And what patient decision aids do is they take the science and the evidence from how people make decisions, as in everyday decisions, and we use that information applied to health to enable people to make choices in a more informed way. Making decisions in a more informed way helps people focus on the information, make it relevant to their personal lives, and be able to make a bit more sense of the information in order to reach a balanced decision about which treatment modality they would like.
And how does that research impact patient decision making concerning their dialysis modality choice?
Well, the NICE guidelines that came out this year were specifically designed or specifically stated that patients should be making informed decisions and that staff needed to enable patients to make informed decisions. And the problem around this is that currently there is huge variations in PD and HD uptake rates within and across centres and countries. So some things the decisions that patients are making is not based on their actual preferences, they're being influenced by other factors. And what we would hope that this decision aid does is encourage patients to think about what's important in their lives and help them put the information about the treatment options in context with their lives, so that they could choose the option that they would prefer rather than one that they heard somebody say was a better treatment option. So enable them maybe to reduce the variation in PD and HD uptake rates across centres, more in keeping with the patient's choice.
Richard, what do you think is the future for growth of home dialysis?
Well, I'm quite optimistic about the growth in home-based therapies, and I think the key to it is understanding that hemodialysis and peritoneal dialysis need to work together, and what we should be looking at is the holistic care of patients that integrates both in-centre and home-based therapies, and that's about looking at the patient pathway. So to understand that patients have a career in renal replacement therapy, that can involve transplantation, that can involve home-based therapies, and that can involve in-centre dialysis as well. And understanding that and offering patients choice should lead to better and more applicable therapies for patients and improve the quality of their life. So I think it's exciting times for us. We have lots of developments in PD, we have lots of developments in home hemodialysis as well, and we should be harnessing those developments to furnish that aim of offering more people a better choice and consequently better outcome.
And as the incoming president of the British Renal Society, what do you believe is the role of research and education in expanding home therapies?
Well, I mean, as the incoming president of the BRS, I'm going to be biased and say I think that the BRS is the premier organisation within the United Kingdom for harnessing research and education for the multidisciplinary team. And, you know, dialysis and transplantations, they are team sports. We are working together with patients and carers to get the best outcomes. That has got to come by developing research and education that's pertinent to those teams and harnessing the work that's done in science in terms of lab-based research, translational research where the BRS is very strong, and bringing it through to multidisciplinary teams so that they re-engineer the product that they offer to patients and allow us to have more patients on home-based therapies. So I think that the BRS brings together nurses, doctors, social workers, dietitians, anemia specialists, and lots of other groups that are very relevant to that team. We have to work as a team to allow us to deliver that care.
Sandeep, could you update us with the developments in home HD?
Sure. There is growing evidence and emerging research suggesting the limitations of the traditional in-centre 3 times a week hemodialysis. And there's also enough support of the extended benefits in terms of patient outcomes and quality of life of more extended hemodialysis regimes, i.e. frequent and daily therapies. It is in this context that there is almost a resurgence of home hemodialysis, a second homecoming, whereby the facilities are considering either starting up a new program or resurrecting an old program with a view to offering this therapy to a larger group of patients, all of whom might benefit from this therapy.
Do you consider HD and PD to be rivals? Is HemoD going to replace PD?
I don't think so. The data would suggest that the countries which have large home hemodialysis programs have also got a sizable PD population. The two, I think, work hand in hand and complement each other, contrary to the widely held belief. In fact, I think the one wholesome home program has a much more bigger impact in terms of patient outcomes than the two therapies working in isolation put together.
Hi Bert, you just presented an ERBP position statement on modality selection. Perhaps you could give us a quick insight into the importance of this.
Okay. Modality selection is a central issue for patients with end-stage renal disease. It's very important for them to have the right renal replacement therapy selected when they need it. The question is, which one is the best? And this is a debate still going on, and the solution is not found yet. Now, what we think from the EuroPD, which is the European Renal Best Practice, is that modality selection should be based on the choice of the patient, because from the data we have today, there is no good reason to prefer one therapy over the other as an initial modality. So we decided with under the guidance of EuroPD to write this EuroPD position statement to give to the audience and the readers as some background information to help patients make these choices.
So we are here at the first of this year 2 EuroPD poster sessions. The number of submissions continue to grow. This year around 150 posters from more than 30 countries. These sessions are very important for investigators to have the opportunity to present their work and for it to be assessed by experts in the field. We can tell that the authors have put a lot of effort and dedication into these posters, and we are really pleased that they have decided to present their work at EuroPD.
So this is a poster that describes a clinical trial program that's aimed to evaluate one of the big unanswered questions in peritoneal dialysis. That is, what is the impact of low glucose prescriptions on metabolic control?
Okay, so our poster is looking at our unique experience of embedded peritoneal dialysis catheters. And although the title says 1 year's experience, we've actually used these catheters from October 2009 till May 2011, so it's over a year and a half now. And rather like an AV fistula, this catheter can be put in preemptively when a patient's approaching end-stage renal failure and then externalised and used straight away when needed. So it gives clinicians quite a lot of peace of mind knowing that they've got access and can start a patient straight away.
Akim, as one of the founders of EuroPD some 18 years ago, could you share with us how you think the conference has developed over the years?
Well, it has developed incredibly and unexpectedly. When we started all this with the first meeting in Berlin in 1994, we didn't expect this to develop into a series of events. At that time, we started it out of disappointment that PD had so few representation in the European meetings, and we wanted to change something about it. And after the big success of the first meeting, we were more or less forced to continue in that path. And having seen how it developed, how it has attracted more and more participants from all over the world, not only Europe, this is really fascinating to see, and I'm very thankful that the PD community made that possible.
What are you hoping this conference will achieve in 2011?
Well, I think this time it's centered around the question, what are the drivers and barriers of PD in Europe? And we have been discussing lots of topics that we think are critical for the further development of PD. Much of that is translational research into clinical situations, and I think some of the sessions really were very successful in making that bridge between bench and then the patient. And I hope to continue on that path with EuroPD in the future.
And that was the 2011 EuroPD conference. We hope to see you again in 2013.